And finally today, over 90,000 people in the northwest are currently living with dementia. Memory walks are taking place here in Lancashire to raise more awareness. Our reporter Natalie Townsend met Kathryn, who set up a memory walk in her area after her mother was diagnosed with the disease.
3, 2, 1.
Over 250 people walked this Sunday in Wesham in aid of the Alzheimer Society. After trying to book onto a memory walk and finding they were all full, Kathryn Veevers decided to create one for the Kirkham and Wesham area, motivated after her mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 4 years ago.
In 2012, my mum was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, a specific form of Alzheimer's called posterior cortical atrophy, which means that it affects her brain and how it processes visual and auditory information. And I'd heard of Alzheimer's before and I'd heard of dementia, but I hadn't really associated my mum's condition with having anything to do with what I thought was a disease related to memory. And then as I looked into it more, and obviously we became more involved in my mum's condition, it became really clear that the amount of information that was out there, both for the general public but also for families and individuals suffering with dementia, wasn't great, and that was nobody's fault, but there needed to be more awareness raised.
There are 850,000 people in the UK living with dementia, and this number is set to rise more than 1 million by 2025.
The most up-to-date figures for the northwest that we have show just over 90,000 people in the northwest, but they're from 2013. There are some more up-to-date figures from the NHS for just Lancashire, which show that's more like 19,500 people in Lancashire.
The walk last year raised just under £6,000 and hopes to raise more this year. Kathryn knows just how important funds like this are to ensure that a diagnosis of the disease doesn't lead to the same outcome as it did for her mother.
It changed how she was able to go about the normal everyday things that she'd been doing all her life. For example, driving a car. She had to hand in a driving licence when she was diagnosed. She had to give up a job. She was the manager of a children's centre and had worked with children all her life from the age of 16. And because of the condition, she was unable to organise her time, read or write, so she couldn't fulfil a job role, so had to take early retirement. And it meant things like she couldn't read stories to our children, so it affected us in that way, and I think we just felt how it was affecting Mum more than anything.
Natalie Townsend, that's Lancashire in Wesham.